Jesus says, I am the light of the world, and that whoever believes in me might not remain in darkness. And he also is love. We know that God is love. And light and love are very similar. If you think about what light does, light illuminates, like here, it illuminates the environment where we can see things and start to understand things. And love does that through the gift of especially spousal love, the gift of affinity. Affinity is like an opening to the door of the other, of the preciousness of the other. Affinity between man and woman is something exclusive from others. You kind of can't walk into that intimate love between a man and woman because it's that special affinity that's there. And then also, light brings forth warmth. There's a warmth in light. You think about a fireplace, a classic example, the warmth that it brings if you're camping up north or something in the cold air. And love does that too. Love has such a warmth to it. When somebody knows that they're loved, or a parent gazes upon their child with a tender love, the child feels such warmth in that. And then also is that light, when it breaks through, it crosses into soil, into the dark soil, is it sprouts new life. You think about like this time where we have mud or dirt that's kind of moist and the light breaks through and then the green life just sprouts from it. You can't even, like weeds start to grow everywhere. You can't contain the life that sprouts from the light and the soil. And love is like that too. It really gives life, especially when you see in spousal love, when a couple love each other, it just is filled with this generous life that's given between them, shown in the fruit of their love, which is children and family life. And we see how Jesus, who is the light and who is love, changes lives. Like Jacques Maritain, a classic example, when he and his wife were studying at a university and they were questioning if there was ultimate meaning in life. And they made a commitment. They were thinking about taking their lives because they didn't think there was meaning in life. And then they read the book, The Poor Woman by Leon Blas, who said that the worst tragedy in life is not to become a saint. And that was the conversion point for Jacques Maritain. And they both became wonderful disciples of Jesus. And St. Francis de Sales as well, when he was living in his time, there was a time when he became very concerned whether he would have salvation because there was a doctrine of predestination. And he was thinking that he was predestined to hell. And then he contemplated from Scripture that God is love. And that generated a whole new life in him where he became one of the best spiritual directors of God's love and his goodness. And in my own life recently, I was able to reflect upon God's goodness in my own life. I was taking a bike ride, and sometimes I bike ride to 8 Mile. Don't be afraid or anything. It's okay. It's during the day, and sometimes I will converse with the people that are under the bridge. And once I was there, and there was somebody under all these blankets, right under the bridge, right on 8 Mile and Woodward. And I went over just to check if they're okay, because sometimes, too, you run into Catholics that are on the streets. And, it's nice to be able to give them the opportunity to go to confession. And so this one person, I just asked, are you okay? Because, it's during the daytime, they're lying on the ground and just wondering what's going on. And so she speaks back to me, and we start conversing, and she looked a little familiar to me. I was like, this is interesting. Where do I recognize her from? And then, as we were talking, I found out she was in my graduating class. I graduated with her. I didn't know her that well, but I knew her by face. And my heart was so moved. Like, I said, you gotta get out of this, And so we talked about faith a bit and about the goodness of the gospel. And I was reflecting on that. I said, Lord, you are so good to me. You are so good to me. I should be there, really. I should be there. But it's because of God's light, because of Jesus' love and light that broke in my life, that I'm here as a priest at the shrine. It's really His grace His love. And it moved me with this overwhelming gratitude towards the Lord and even a more eagerness to share that life with others. And the woman I was talking to, she to me was like, she was very humble. I mean, people in the streets are humble people. And she was to me an icon of today's age. The icon of kind of a loss of ultimate meaning of life. Just recently from 2 different sources, one lady who works at a monastery was telling me they're getting a flood of calls from people whose kids or younger people are committing suicide. And then from a nurse at a hospital I was talking to, she says she's amazed by the depression in younger people today. And I told both people that I talked to, I said, I'm not surprised, because we live in an age where ultimate meaning is being disintegrated. There is no ultimate meaning. That's kind of what's being proclaimed. The ultimate meaning is just satisfaction of one's desires. And if that's it, blah. There's no ultimate motivation to get up every day. And so the good news for us is that Jesus, who is love, breaks through this darkness, and he says the entire cosmos has meaning. Your personal life has meaning. Since the foundation of the universe, I called you by name. You have ultimate meaning because the whole cosmos has the meaning of love. And it's love that generates zest for life. It's love that makes us get up every day and brush our teeth and do our job, because the meaning of life is found in love, who is found in Jesus Christ. And this is the good news. And we see this fruit of love given to our civilization. There's a book titled How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization, and talks about how through the church, through the Catholic Church, hospitals came, universities came, even human rights. We use human rights so often, but human rights was ultimately grounded in the beauty of the church, the beauty of the truth of the church. And so for us, let us appreciate that God has, by His grace, has given us this magnificent awareness of His love for us. And let us desire to share it with others. And one way we can share it with others, and I'm convicted of this, is to smile more. I don't smile too often. We need to smile more. And sometimes, you have to force your smiles. You don't want to be ungenuine, but we smile because a smile signifies a reality. It signifies a truth that Jesus has redeemed the world and He has called us to everlasting life. This goodness. And I want to end with quoting from this lady who wrote about the power of a smile. She goes, "You never know who is suffering. A passing smile may put a ray of sunshine on the road before them. Just one smile may be a sign for somebody that life does have ultimate meaning, and it's found in Jesus Christ."